I got a question one time. It had to do with breaking up. The time period between ending a relationship and starting a new relationship. There's some people believe in a concept called transition, and I don't believe this concept because to me it's unhealthy and it's a way to go into denial because you don't really completely come to peace with the one that ended. Yeah. So what some people do is they when they get out of a relationship, immediately they jump into the next one. And then you run into problems like well, let's just say you ended a relationship, okay? And then you immediately jump into a new relationship. And then let's say you go out to dinner or, and then you start eating and then, you start saying, "Yeah, my ex boyfriend, he used to always complain about this and always complain about that and you keep comparing your new partner to your ex. And when you do that, it means you're still in the relationship that you think is over, but really, for you, you're still in it. Yeah? Now, maybe your ex has moved on, or maybe they're doing the same thing you're doing. Yeah? So, but the bottom line is what some people do in this line of thinking is they say, okay, I just got out of a relationship. I need a transition. I need a transition phase. So they'll find somebody, and the main purpose of a transition relationship is sex. That's the only reason why they do it. Because they feel like, okay, we're gonna have sex with this person. That's all it's gonna be is just sex, 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 sex to get me to stop thinking about the ex. That's not gonna work. All it's going to do is put you further in denial because you're not dealing with it. Okay? Before you jump into the next relationship, you have to be at peace with the one that you just left or the past one. So when you get out of one relationship, you shouldn't be jumping into a new one the next week. Yeah? It's sometimes it takes a long time to heal from it. Yeah, I've been sharing an experience with you on this show from time to time. This happened to me. Yeah, and for me, it took about I don't know, maybe about a year and a half before I started coming out of it and coming to peace with that previous one. And the telltale sign for me was really goofy. Um, see, what's normal for me because I'm a musician is that when I'm doing housework, like washing the dishes or vacuuming the carpet or doing whatever, or taking a shower, yeah, I just start singing, yeah, and it just goes with it, yeah. It's just something I automatically do, and then something kind of tragic happened to me in 2014. And I did not realize it, but after that incident happened, I stopped singing. I didn't realize that though. Yeah, I didn't know that because I was feeling pretty messed up. Yeah, because this was a incident where I didn't do anything to cause it to happen. Yeah, I in this one I was the one who was um well, if I didn't do anything to influence it to happen, then you can imagine who did. Yeah. So it was hard. Yeah. But when was it? Sometime in autumn last year, 2015. That suddenly I started singing. Yeah. I was taking a shower and As I was washing myself, I started, I keep my close eye on this heart of mine. And I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I started, and then I pause. I say, "Hey, wait a minute! I'm singing," and I just realized, wow, I didn't do this for almost a year and a half. I didn't even realize that I had stopped. So when I caught myself singing in the shower, oh, I felt happy because that was a signal that I'm arriving at peace, that I'm dealing with this in a healthy way, and that whatever relationship comes next for me, that I'm ready for it. And she will be ready for me too, because like attracts like. So it really made me feel good. So that's how you know you're going to notice certain things. When you come to peace with the difficulty, it takes time. Yeah, this is not something that you can plan. You just have to do it. But you will, as long as you do your part in coming to peace with it, it will come to you and it will let you know. And that's a celebration because it's like you're free now. Yeah, you're the residue is gone. The relationship is truly over now. Now you can go. You're ready for the next one. Yeah. See, I did a healing process, and I'll talk about that in the next few minutes here. But I did that, and um, that's when you come to peace with your past, this is something you have to do. If you want a healthy life, emotionally healthy life, so that your next relationship will be healthier than the previous one. Yeah. And so when you're entering the next relationship, you have a clear mind. Yeah. So you're going to give all your time to yourself and your new partner. Your ex is gone now. You're done with him. You've come to peace with it. So you have no emotional attachment. You just let them go now and continue your life. That's the healthy way to do it. But what unhealthy people do is they get out of a relationship and right away they go to the club and look for somebody and all they want to do is sex. Yeah? And they feel this is the way to clear their minds. And then meanwhile that other person probably thinks you're in love with them, and so they think this is a relationship, but for you, you're saying, "Oh, you're just a transition man or transition woman," and this is very disrespectful to the other person because it's selfishness. It's an act of selfishness, and selfishness is never healing. Selfishness puts you on the road to denial and deeper in codependency. Okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that because relationships is one of my favorite topics. Yeah. I had now I remember. Aha, now I remember. I'm going to say it now before I forget. Okay? A young lady wrote to me, and I'm not going to say her name or where she's from or anything, but she wrote to me um, that she just entered a new relationship and she realizes that this guy, he keeps talking about his ex all the time, and it's getting to be problematic for her because he will say, "Oh, I'm so glad you do this and do this because my ex-girlfriend, she always did this and she always did." And it's, in the beginning it was like, yeah, okay, but then now it's like it's every time they're together, he brings up his ex, always comparing. And she's saying, I'm getting kind of fed up with it. And so she's saying, I'm worried that I'm really going to end up being his transition girlfriend. And I don't want that. When you do something and say something, and how you do and say it, this is sending an energy out. Okay? And also, how you interpret what you hear, what you see, what you feel, that's also communication. That's incoming communication. How you do that also sends out an energy. And that's going to return to you 4 times as strong. So if it's unhealthy, it's going to come back to you 4 times as unhealthy. But if it's healthy, it comes back 4 times as healthy. In Lakota, we call that wawokia. This is a natural law of generosity. Okay? So when you believe in transition relationships, this is an unhealthy communication. Yeah? And it's going to come back to you and it's going to hurt you more. And actually, you're the one that's doing it. You're the one that's hurting yourself more because you're the one sending it out. With these transition relationships, it's 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 it causes the person to not deal with that past relationship. Yeah, it's like they're push it under the rug, and as long as they don't see it, they say, okay, I don't see it, so it don't exist. That's denial. It's still there. Yeah, and when you don't deal with that, that's like a time bomb, and it's gonna grow inside you, and it will make you sick. Yeah, and it could make you physically sick because the body and the emotions and the mind and the soul are all connected to each other. So it's dangerous. Yeah, to when you believe in these transition kind of relationships, because this is very unhealthy. And how I mean, whatever communication you send out, this is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So when you send out unhealthy communication, it means inside of you is unhealthy too. So when you believe in transition relationships, you do not have high self-esteem. Yeah? And you there's something wrong inside of you. There's something really unhealthy inside of you because your communication is a reflection of what's inside of you. And a transition relationship is an unhealthy communication, which means if you believe in that, then you don't have a relationship with yourself. Yeah? You don't have a relationship with yourself. The first star knowledge concept is reality begins within. So if you don't have a relationship with yourself, you don't have a foundation inside of you. Yeah? So what this means is that everything is not going to work for you. It might look like it's working for a while. Yeah? But something is eventually going to go wrong because there's no foundation. There's no healthy foundation. Yeah. And again, because reality begins within, if you have a healthy foundation, then you will do it like what I did with my experience. Yeah, that I came to peace with it first before I entered my next relationship. Yeah, because whoever I'm going to be with, I want her to experience me, just me, and not my ex. Just me. Yeah? You see what I mean? So I have to be at peace with that. And to do that means you have to have a healthy relationship with yourself. To live a healthy life so that you have a healthy relationship with yourself. And that means how you communicate is going to reflect that. And then the next star knowledge concept comes in, like attracts like, that how you are is what you attract. So if you're healthy, you'll attract somebody healthy. Relationships as defined by Lakota star knowledge concepts of reality begins within and like attracts like. The same method also works for friends, for attracting good friends, yeah, for attracting quality friends. So a lot of people think that they have to be part of a huge circle of friends, and they think that the more friends they have, the better their life is. But that's not true. That's linear thinking. Linear thinking is like you think that the more you have, or the more you know, or the further you are on the path, you think you're better than everybody else who is behind you, who has less than you, who's not as smart as you academically. Uh, you put yourself above them, and that comes into duality, as I was explaining earlier. That's linear thinking. And nonlinear thinking is, yes, sometimes things go forwards, but sometimes it goes backwards, and sometimes it jumps into the future. And this is all about coming to peace with things. Like coming to peace with your past difficulties is extremely important to a healthy life, and having a healthy partner so that you can create a healthy relationship. This is non-linear, yeah, looking into the past. It's good to look back there. That's why it's good to be at peace with it, yeah? So that when you look in the past, you might see things new, yeah? They always were there, but at the time, in the past, you don't or you didn't see as much as you can comprehend today. So you end up seeing something new and you learn something new. Then you come back with that information to the present moment to help you in your life now. See, you went back. That's nonlinear. And then the other side is visualizing a future that you would like to have and make it realistic. Yeah. And then visualize that you already have it, or that you're already there, and enjoy that. Do that every day. Yeah. And then come back to the present moment. And all what that does is it puts something in your mind that's going to give you inspiration, that's going to lead you to a wonderful future. It's going to influence your future. And even if difficulties come, see, you're already prepared. Yeah, when you live this healthy way, and you know that difficulties are opportunities for you to learn something, to come to peace, and also to make the best of it, and releasing the emotions by doing something constructively. Yeah, and that's still gonna lead you to a nice future, a healthy future. Yeah. So um, you take it day by day. Yeah, you stay in the present moment, and this is non-linear. To visualize the future, to learn from the past. That's all non-linear. This is a healthy way to be because it increases your emotional health, and that's important. Yeah, because we're not designed to be alone. Yeah, we are not designed to live alone. We're designed to be with somebody, so that when you live in this way, this is going to help you. Yeah, it's going to help you to achieve that with the like attracts like. Yeah, that comes into play. So what this means is that when a relationship ends, that it's crucial to come to peace with it. And I know that's hard, but it's possible. Yeah. And this way, you're ready. Yeah. Your heart and your mind are ready for the next, yeah, your new relationship. And then when that happens, and it will happen as long as you're doing these things that I'm talking about, it will happen. And then you're going to totally, totally be in the moment, yeah, because you're already living in the present moment, the here and now, and that means you're going to enjoy that relationship as much as possible. Every little thing is going to mean something, yeah. It's really a wonderful thing. You don't take anything for granted. You enjoy everything that's happening, and when a difficulty comes, you talk to each other and work through it, and that's gonna increase your love for one another. So this can only happen when you're at peace with your past. Yeah, when you're at peace with the past relationship, then the next one will be nice. In most cases, nicer. Yeah, and I know because it happened to me. And this is this is how it works. Yeah, this is the way it is. And but as I said at the beginning, there are, you know, this young lady wrote to me, and she just entered a relationship with a guy, and he seemed really nice and everything, but that's how usually first dates are. Everybody's trying to impress the other one, and they're always on their best behavior, and they're always super nice, things like that. So they don't really see the complete picture. What they're seeing is just partial reality. Yeah. So, she thought, that he was, okay, and ready, you know, to be in a relationship with her because everything seemed to point in that direction. But once they started going out with each other, um, for example, they went bowling, yeah, uh, and when she was bowling, um, she said, she's uh, not athletic, but they're just doing this activity for fun, yeah. But when she would bowl, when she would, throw the ball down the bowling lane to knock down the pins, and then he would say something like, "See, that's what it feels like." He would say, "I know what those pins feel like. The way those balls just knock the shit out of those pins. That's what my ex did to me." And she Gee, that must have been pretty bad, yeah. And so she didn't think anything of it, but uh, every time they go out, there's at least one incident where he will bring up his ex-girlfriend. And the problem is he goes on and on and on. And she said, "I'm tired of this." She said, um, you know, what does your culture say about these kind of things? She said. So I said, well, he's still in the relationship, yeah, because he's in his relationship with his ex-girlfriend is unhealthy, and this is the evidence. Yeah, he's still in it. He's still in a relationship with his ex-girlfriend, even though he's with you. He's still in the relationship with his ex-girlfriend. He didn't come to peace with it. He's still involved emotionally, but this time it's on the other side of the coin. Now it's hatred. Yeah, that now he hates her. But the thing is, he's still in a relationship with her. So what's going to end up happening, I said, is you're going to be a transition person. Yeah, and he might not even know it. He might think that you're his girlfriend and his new love. But the thing is, there's going to come a time when the possibility is very strong that he's going to want to present you to his new girlfriend. I mean, he's going to present you to his girlfriend and say, look, she's prettier than you. Yeah, look, she's younger than you. Look, yeah. See, he's going to be comparing you to her to get back at her. He's seeking a revenge. And revenge is always an unhealthy communication. It's everything that you're telling me about this guy is unhealthy. So you have to really examine yourself. Do you want to stay with this? Because, you know, there's a number of things that could happen. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I can change him. I just have to show him more love and I will change him. I will make him forget about her. If you think on that way, then you're going to become a codependent. Yeah, and that's unhealthy too. Yeah, because you don't want him saying, "Oh, you're so much better than my ex-girlfriend. Oh, you kiss so much better than my ex-girlfriend." You don't want him to say every romantic thing that includes the words "my ex-girlfriend." You don't want to be hearing that because eventually you're going to get tired of it. It might make you feel good in the beginning. You might feel, oh, yes, I'm superior. I'm better than his ex girlfriend. And that's a dualistic thinking because you're oppressing the ex girlfriend too when you think like that. And the truth is, you shouldn't even feel a damn thing towards his ex girlfriend, especially if you don't know her. Yeah. So when you start communicating like him, you're falling into this trap, and the deeper you go into this trap, the more difficult it is to get out. So you have to really look at that. Now that's one angle. If I love him more, then I can change him. Yeah, that's one angle, and that's unhealthy. It's going to lead to an unhealthy relationship. Now, what he's doing to his ex-girlfriend, he's going to end up doing that to you too, because the chance is extremely high that your relationship is going to fail. How he's talking about his ex-girlfriend now, that's how he's going to talk about you to his new girlfriend. And he's going to keep doing that. as long as he lives in the unhealthy way. So he's never really involved in any relationship at all. He's constantly in transition, but he never arrives at love and peace. Yeah. Another angle, another approach to this um, could be, put your foot down and give him an ultimatum and say, "Look, I'm with you now, and either you're with me or not. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not with you and your ex. I'm with you, and I need you to think like that too. But right now, you're with me and you're with your ex. You're with both of us. So I'm not receiving the full deal from you. Yeah, I'm giving you the full deal, but you're not giving me the full deal from yourself because you're still in your mind with your ex. So you have to change that. The ultimatums, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So you have to be careful with that. Yeah. But I think a healthier approach would be to say, look, you're still involved with your ex-girlfriend. You might disagree with me, but you're still involved with her because you can't stop talking about her. And when you talk about her, you really get emotional. And this shows that you are not at peace with that. So my thought is you're not ready for a relationship. So let's take some time to be apart and think about this. Yeah, let's not be in a relationship for maybe a month, and let's think about this. And maybe we can talk and say, okay, what is your idea of a relationship? Yeah, what is your idea? And I'll tell you mine. Now, we can't just live on my idea and we can't just live on your idea, but we've got to discuss these things. But let's get out of the relationship and then start talking about this first before we go any further. Yeah? Because if we don't do this, then I'm just going to be a transition for you. Because you're not completely with me, which means you're only going to be with me until you find something wrong with me, and then you're going to leave me for somebody new. So you're always transitioning into another relationship without ever coming to peace with the previous one. And then if you absolutely do not like this, then I can't be with you. Yeah, so you have to really think. Um, you have to take some time to think about what you're going to say. But his mind is still in the other relationship. And you cannot change anybody but yourself. Now, this is me talking. I'm talking to this young girl and telling her, you can't change anybody but you. And you're not responsible, for his well being. He is. And as long as he's talking about his ex girlfriend all the time, he's not being responsible. He's being irresponsible. And that's not fair to you. And you deserve better than that. Or do you? Because if you feel you can change him, then that's not going to work either. That's gonna be an unhealthy outcome. Yeah. So the reality is that you're going to end up being a transition for him. So you're going to be disrespected, and this is not love. Yeah. So that's another form of transition relationships. Yeah, and like I said at the beginning of the show, there's the other one is the blatant form of where a person knows, yeah, that the next person they want to be with, it's just for sex. They don't want to get emotionally involved. They just want to, have sex and think that that's going to cure everything and take their mind off the past. And they're going to be with that person until they find somebody better. That's really disrespectful because it's like a machine. This is all coming from duality. Yeah, it's using people. And that's oppression. So the idea of transition, to have a transition relationship is really an unhealthy idea. And I never heard of this before until in my past. I was with somebody and and there was somebody before me, and she said, he was just a transition guy. She said, and so I said, well, lucky me, I guess. And then I thought about that, and I thought, geez, that poor guy. Yeah, that I asked her. I said, did he know he was a transition guy? And she laughed and said, no, but I don't care. She said that doesn't matter to me. And I was like, oh boy, this is not gonna work. Because if she thinks like that about him, eventually she's gonna think like that about me. So I got out of there. Yeah, I said this is not my belief system. This to me is founded on duality. And I know a lot of people who live in cities, big cities. This is the way they think. Yeah, because the nightclubs are basically meat markets. And so they feel that uh, transition relationships are normal. That's what they feel, but it's not normal. It's not natural because this kind of environment is unhealthy, and it's going to push you in emotional denial, and this is one of the kind of denials that's really hard to get out of because you don't believe it. You don't. But that's what a denial is. You don't believe there's anything wrong. You think everything is okay. You think, oh, I'm a city guy. I am modern. Yeah, I am modern love guy here. So, uh, you know, that old-fashioned love that's for farmers. But the real love is this modern guys. Well, I tell you what. The reason why it's called old-fashioned is because it works. And cities fall. Cities burn. So this whole idea of transition, it just this is a modern thing, and this is not a healthy thing. And I know a lot of psychologists recommend it. Yeah, but let me tell you something, people. Just because somebody has a doctor title, that does not mean they're smart. Yeah, a lot of psychologists they recommend this. They say, yeah, well, what you need is a good fuck. Yeah, so why don't you go to the bar and find somebody that just for the purpose of getting fucked, and just be a whore and get it. That'll get it out of your system, and then just do that until you find the next guy. This is actually I've heard this before. Yeah, I've heard psychologists say this. They think this is a healthy concept. It's not. Psychology is not the answer to everything. Psychology is based on limited information, and most of it is coming from duality. It's just very rare that I do agree with certain psychological things, but most of psychology I disagree with because there's too much focus on the mind and not enough on emotional well-being. But some psychologists are good. I'm not saying they're all bad, okay? I'm not a Scientologist, okay? So I do recommend therapy. Yeah, but the thing is you have to find a good one. It's just like when you're going to buy a car. You don't just buy one that looks good. You have to test it out. Yeah? You have to take it for a test drive. You have to do the research on this car. Does it have good gas mileage? What's the history of this car? Because all cars, well, I don't know if it's like this in Europe, but in America, all cars have a history. Yeah? All cars, all used cars have a history. And it's law that you can request that. So you can find out everything that happened to this car. Yeah, the repairs and what went wrong, what got replaced, and how often did this happen? Because if a car keeps getting repaired all the time, it's not a good car. It's a lemon. But see, what you're doing is you're taking the time to check it out, and that's what you have to do when you need therapy. I do recommend it, but it's just like getting a car. You do your research. You find a good therapist because there are some good ones out there, but there's a lot of no good ones that give really shitty advice, like saying, "Yeah, go ahead, have a have an affair on your husband as long as he doesn't know, it don't hurt him." Some psychologists actually recommend that. That's duality because it's deception. Deception comes from duality because in duality you deceive yourself. Yeah, and these transition kind of relationships, it's very similar to that. Yeah, a transition relationship, as I said, it shows disrespect to the person who's the transition person. Yeah, it shows disrespect to them, and when you disrespect others, you disrespect yourself. Because reality begins within. How you communicate to others is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So if your communication is unhealthy, that's what's in you too. And a transition relationship is an unhealthy process. And if you believe in that, that means you're unhealthy too. And what this is going to result in is emotional de-evolution. Yeah? In other words, you're not going to grow emotionally. You're not going to be able to evolve. You're going to go backwards. Meaning you're going to become more and more closed-minded even though you think you're a fancy city slicker. You're going to become more and more closed-minded to the beauty of reality. You're not going to be able to comprehend the fullness of reality. Yeah? Which means you don't know what love is. And everything is going to be transition. But the thing is, if you're looking for love, it's not going to happen. Because you're not at peace with the past. Yeah, that's crucial. So transition relationship shows that a person does not want to come to peace with his past. That means they're going to see the world in an incomplete way. They're not going to be able to see everything. They're not going to be able to feel everything. Kisses are not going to taste so sweet. Yeah? And that's sad because they're missing. They're missing out on what love really is. Yeah. So if you believe in transition relationships, you will never find love. You never will. I guarantee it. 100%. So with that, I thank you very much for taking time to tune in and listen to this show. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And all I ask is that you think about it, nothing more. And in our way, we have no word for goodbye because for us, everything is circular. So it's only about beginnings, starting over, healing, rejuvenation, renewal. There is no end. So that's why we have no word for goodbye in Lakota. So instead we say until next time, which in Lakota is Toksha Ake. So good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, sweet dreams, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this. Thank you very much. We'll see you again tomorrow. And Toksha Ake.